Okay, I found out about this AI. It's meant for like academic research or something. But you feed stuff into it, and it just creates like topics of discussion that you could pursue for like a presentation or whatever. Um, and it also now gives you like an NPR like bland radio show or podcast, sort of man and woman discussing whatever you fed it. So I fed it the Rick and Morty copypasta, and it immediately picked up on the pretentiousness of the author of this, and it gave me a bunch of shit like the author's disdain for Rick and Morty non-fans, characteristics of a typical Rick and Morty viewer according to Source One. Yeah, the author who claims to have a high IQ. I love it. So anyway, I'm going to listen to this. I've listened to like the first 20 seconds. There was something, it picked up on something that I didn't feed it. I can't remember what that was.
Ever get that feeling? Like you need a PhD just to watch some shows?
Mm.
Like there's this whole other level, but it's only for the, the really smart people.
Right, right.
Well, today we're digging into that with a meme that totally nails it. The Rick and Morty copypasta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't call it copypasta.
Yeah, and for
that
anyone
was
who might not be like super deep in internet stuff,
sure.
A copypasta is just a chunk of text that gets copied and pasted online, usually for laughs.
Right, right. Like a meme almost.
Exactly. And this one we're talking about, it claims you need a very high IQ to understand this show.
Which is, of course, ridiculous.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it so funny. So get this. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. The humor is extremely subtle.
Oh, here we go. The classic.
I know, right? It just lays it on so thick from the start.
Subtlety is not exactly the show's trademark, is it?
No, not really. But it keeps going. It brings up philosophers, throws around theoretical physics. There's even this whole bit about a special Rick and Morty tattoo that like only the real geniuses are worthy of.
Oh, the gatekeeping tattoo, of course.
It's amazing. It's like they took every pretentious cliche and crammed it in there.
It is pretty brilliant satire, though, even if it's unintentional. It shows how some fans try to make it seem like they're part of this exclusive club.
Totally. And the show itself, Rick and Morty, it does have a lot of sci-fi dark humor.
Yeah, it gets pretty philosophical sometimes, too.
Right. So it makes sense that people would analyze it.
Exactly. But this copypasta takes it to a ridiculous extreme, almost mocking that whole intellectual elitism thing.
It's like this weird, exaggerated argument, even though it's obviously a joke. Like, it reveals how some people try to use taste as a way to feel smarter than others.
Oh, absolutely. It's using humor to point out those classic gatekeeping moves, saying, only a select few are in the know.
Oh, right.
Name-dropping obscure references like their secret passwords.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, well, you're just an addlepated simpleton.
Okay, that part always gets me. Addlepated simpleton.
Oh.
Come on, who even says that?
Right. But the thing is, you see this everywhere, not just with TV shows.
Oh, for sure. Wine snobs, art critics.
That friend who's always got to tell you about some obscure craft beer.
Oh, yes. It's like they need to create this hierarchy of taste.
Exactly. And this copypasta, it just nails that whole dynamic so perfectly.
So what do you think? Why do people do this whole I'm smarter than you thing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe it's insecurity, maybe a need for validation. Probably a bit of both.
Could be. But at least if we recognize these tactics,
Right.
whether it's in a meme or in real life, it might help us have better conversations,
Absolutely. Because when we get too caught up in being right or proving how smart we are, we miss out on actually learning from each other.
Exactly. So next time you run into this kind of intellectual gatekeeping, remember that Rick and Morty copypasta.
It's a good reminder not to take ourselves too seriously.
Totally. Sometimes the people who act the smartest are the ones who need to be taken down a peg or two.
And who knows, maybe it'll even spark a real conversation about the things we love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After all, isn't that what it's all about? Sharing those passions, not using them to build walls.
Couldn't agree more.
You all said.
Until next time.
Wow. I am both impressed and disappointed. Like, I don't know. It was bland. If they're going for bland, they're clearly going for bland. So it's like, it's impressive how unimpressive it is. I guess you need a fairly high IQ to understand Untitled Notebook.